This is Dr. Jack Nordhaus of IMMS and the Inside Track, and my guest today is Al Diamond of the Agency Consulting Group, and Al really knows his stuff, and today we're going to be talking about strategic planning for insurance agencies. Good morning, Al.
Good morning, Jack. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, and I've been around for a while, and you certainly have, it's quite a resume there.
I've been around for a long time.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, let's go for it. Let's talk about planning.
Okay, I'd be happy to. Well, the first question that we've got on the board that all agents seem to ask is, why do I have to plan in the first place? Mm-hmm. It's a difficult thing to do. It's time-consuming. Why is there any need to plan? Well, the answer is pretty apparent. Which is responsible for a really good agent's success? Is it hard work or is it luck? Some agents claim that they've just been lucky. Some agents say that I make my own luck because of the hard work that I do.
Yeah.
And the question that follows this is, who's really in control? Is it destiny? Is there no controls at all? Or do you exert some control over your future? And if destiny can't be controlled, why even try? Well, here's the reason. If you plan, you stand a much better chance of understanding not just the success or failure of your business, but why you're succeeding or failing. Mm-hmm. The second thing is that being proactive seems to pay. Those agents who are actively doing something seem to get more results than those agents who sit back, wait in their offices for something to happen. Planning permits you to begin with the end in mind. If you've read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, this is one of the primary habits. Always begin with the end point, what you're intending on being at some point in the future. And finally, planning allows you to focus on the important more than it does the trivial. The question that we have to look at next is, why does planning work in the first place?
Yeah.
Well,
let's find out.
Jack, there we are.
Yeah.
How does planning work? Well, first of all, what we put together in a plan starts with a vision statement. The vision statement defines what we want to look like to the most important audiences we have. Who would they be? Well, the most important audience we have are the owners. And then comes the other important audiences, our client base, our insurance companies. We'll talk all about that. The vision statement actually tells you how you want to look to them. The vision statement goes coincidental with a mission statement, a business statement that defines what you want your business to look like some years down the road. In order to get from where you are now to the point of the mission statement and the vision statement, you need to have strategies. Strategies are the activities that would change you from where you are now to where you're going to be in 4 or 5 years. If you are already where you are now, you don't need strategies, but you also aren't putting together a long-term plan. Once you have your strategies, you now have to back those strategies down using long-term goals that will define what you have to do in 5 years, in 4 years, in 3 years, in 2, and in 1. Those long-term goals define your tactical plan. The lowest level of your long-term goals are your annual objectives within your plan. There are a lot of businesses that actually stop here. It's a mistake, because having goals and objectives in themselves don't make them happen. So what we do in our planning process is we involve quarterly action plans. These are the activities that you need to do in order to assure that your annual objectives will be reached. We don't even stop there. What we suggest is that you have monthly benchmarks, the measuring points that tell you whether or not you're achieving your quarterly action plans. And finally, and certainly not the least, is your budget. you need to budget. Most agents don't. The ones that do are much more likely to achieve their goals.
And that's where your budget planner comes in.
That's where my budget planner comes in. It's the tool that we use, and we certainly invite all agents to use the budget planner. We not only use it during our own strategic planning sessions, but we've actually put it out in a CD or transferable form that we can give to agents for them to use themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's break it down. The vision statement, the first part of strategic planning, basically answers the question, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to be from an organizational standpoint? And these are the four most important groups that we were talking about at being an audience to. Your customers, your insurance companies who are supposed to be your partners,
mm-hmm.
your staff, who are the core reason that your business succeeds or doesn't succeed, and finally to the owners of the business. If we don't pay ourselves as owners of the business, why are we in business in the first place?
Right.
All of the people who have been owners know that ownership is full of stress and headaches. There's got to be compensation for that. That's what our vision statement is to us. Now, once we get through that vision statement, which is the first part of every strategic plan, we move on to the mission statement. The mission statement is a little bit different.
Okay.
The mission statement defines the business position that you expect your agency to attain at the end of 5 years. We've used less time, we've used more time than 5 years. What we found in our business, specifically to the insurance agency business, we can't really see far enough into the future to go beyond 5 years. The economy changes, hard and soft markets happen, but we can pretty well determine where we are now and where we're going for the next 2, 3, as many as 5 years. And we define our vision statement, our mission statement, in specific terms.
Mm-hmm.
How we expect our agency to be in both size and profitability. How big do we expect it to be? What kind of pre-tax profit would we expect to see at the end of 5 years? We define it in terms of mix of business and the insurance companies that we're using. Will it be the same number of companies or the same companies that we have now? And do we expect to have the same percentage, personal lines, commercial lines, life, health insurance, 5 years from now that we have now? If we would like that mix of business to be different, we have to do something. If we'd like the carriers to be different, we have to do something. We define it in terms of our customer base and the markets we serve. Would we like to expand our geographic market? Would we like our customer base to be different than it is today? If so, that finds itself into the terms of the mission statement. We also look in personal terms that would satisfy you as an agency owner and your employees as participants in the business. So these are more than just two statements, the mission,
right.
The mission and the vision. They actually define where you're aiming your business to be 5 years from now.
Both in quantity and quality.
Both in quantity and in quality. Now, if we expect our business to be exactly the same 5 years from now that it is today, in terms of our business statement, I still want to be $1 million agency making a 10% profit 5 years from now. We don't have to do much. All we have to do is stay in place. But most agents want more for their business. So that requires strategies.
Mm-hmm.
A strategy is defined as something that will make you different than you are today.
Okay.
So when we develop our strategy, we look at every action of the vision and business statement that doesn't already describe the way your business is. The vision and the business define the position that you have to occupy in order to achieve the results that you expect of your business. So that's your vision statement and your business statement, your mission statement. Now we go from there, and what we're looking for is the strategies, the things that we have to do to accomplish the position of the mission and the vision statement. And that looks different. It will look different than your agency is today. Once we have those strategies, we move into phase 3 of our strategic planning, the strategy portion, the long-term portion of our plan, the long-term goals. Every strategy that you evolve from the action statements of your mission and vision are going to have at least one set of long-term goals and may have multiple sets of long-term goals. And the long-term goals need to be backed down from the 5th year, which is the position of the mission and vision statement, down to the next year in order to make sense of those goals, in order to define whether those goals are achievable or not. That's the extent of the strategic vision, the long-term strategic planning for an insurance agency. We look at the mission and vision of the agency, where it wants to be 5 years from now, and what it wants to look like from our most important players. The next thing we do is we define what the strategies would be that would change us from the way we are now to the way we're going to be 5 years from now. Finally, we define each strategy in terms of long-term goals, and we actually suggest a series of 5 long-term goals going from the 5th year down to the next year, and we reality test this entire process. That means we ask the logical question, is it realistic to be able to step through year by year and go from the way we are now to the way we want to be 5 years from now? As an example, if you're $1 million commission agency today, and 5 years from now you want to be a $10 million commission agency, and a part of your strategies is not acquisition of insurance agencies, the question in your mind ought to be, how on earth, if it's taken us 20 years to get to $1 million, are we going to go from $1 million to $10 million with just a natural organic growth strategy? However, if you want to be $10 million, there's nothing that says you can't be, if you aggressively pursue acquisitions over that 10-year period. Some agencies will, some agencies won't. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that your long-term goals and your strategies are evolved and are realistic, that will take you from where you are today to where you'll be 5 years from now. This is the long-term part of strategic planning. In a separate section, I think you and I have a discussion coming up on the short term of tactical planning that we'll do at another point.
Exactly. Well, that summarizes it beautifully, Al, and that is, well, in 13 minutes we've seen a heck of a lot, and I want to thank you for sharing. If folks want to get in touch with you, there is your contact information, and there is mine, and we will take it from there.
And we'd be more than happy to help any agency with their long-term planning needs.
Thank you very much.